This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz, and we are joined by Michelle Boehm. She is a regional director with the High Speed Rail Authority here in California. Welcome back to the program. For a long time, folks have been saying, what is this high-speed rail? I don't see anything being built, but we can't say that anymore.
You're absolutely right. We can't say that anymore. I'm really excited to let people know that we are now building the Fresno River Bridge.
What does that mean?
That means that we really have that first piece of iconic vertical construction underway on the project in the Central Valley. And so people are really going to be able to see and understand that the high-speed rail project is fully under construction. Prior to that, we'd been doing all of the pre-construction activities that needed to be done, and they were significant: relocating utilities, clearing the sites, grading the sites, all of those kinds of things, which are significant in terms of the construction process, but are things that the public can't see in the same way. They don't grab your attention and imagination.
And so, should I go to Fresno, what would I see if I went to the Fresno River Bridge site?
So if you go to the Fresno River Bridge site now, you see that they're going to start putting up the bridge supports, basically. So you can see the metal and steel forms that they're putting in, and then they will begin with the concrete, and so literally you'll begin to see a bridge rising out of the ground.
I like that. So how long is this phase? I don't mean in terms of years, in terms of miles.
In terms of the construction project that the Fresno River Bridge is part of is a 29-mile project.
So that's the kind of first phase, if we can call it that.
Correct.
How long will that take? Do we know?
Correct. Well, we've creatively called it Construction Package 1.
Okay, well stated.
And that is the first phase. And we plan to have the construction completed in the Central Valley on Construction Package 1, 2, 3, 4, et cetera, by 2018.
That's the 29 miles?
Yeah, well, plus the next 65.
Oh, really?
For Construction Package 2 and 3, which are awarded. And so now we have those pre-construction.
And where are those going?
So those are continuing to march south towards Southern California.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when those phases are done, will there be trains on it, or do we need to wait for the, I guess, San Francisco to LA line to be done before the rail can be used?
So the way that we've described building the system is we're really focused on what we call the initial operating section.
Okay.
And that is just north of Fresno, right, where Construction Package 1 is, all the way down to the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
And when that's completed, we will begin running revenue service trains. Yes.
Do we know when that will be?
That, according to our 2014 business plan, will be done early next decade, so 2022.
I mean, that's a blink. I mean, if you really think about it, that is a blink. And so, do we know, once we get to Southern California-ish, we'll call it, where the train is going to go? Because I remember last time we spoke, and we were still trying to figure out where it's going to go. I guess in the Santa Clarita Valley area, is that right?
Correct. And so that work is still underway to determine what the route is to connect Palmdale into the San Fernando Valley, into Burbank. It is a very complex section, as you can imagine, because we have to go around or through the mountains, and we also have to go through highly urban Los Angeles area in the San Fernando Valley.
So that's the question.
So many considerations that have to be weighed in order to find the right route there, and we have that work underway now.
Do we have a sense as to when a decision should be made, needs to be made, will be made on those issues?
Yes, we do. A selection on a preferred alternative would be made next year in 2016.
Soon. Okay.
Yes.
So folks are weighing in, stakeholders are getting involved. When I think about all this construction, I think about a lot of jobs being created. You know, one could say a lot of different things about high-speed rail, but if you're making a rail line, people are working. Who's working? Whom are you hiring?
So we have a community benefits agreement that includes some amazing programs to hire people who may have barriers to work otherwise. So out-of-work veterans, single mothers, those types of folks have a special pathway to get into the construction trades and work on this project.
Which, by the way, can be well-paid jobs. I mean,
Absolutely.
There's no question. I mean, these are living wage jobs that one can support their families.
Absolutely.
What about smaller businesses in terms of being providers of services or products, the procurement process?
Right. So in 2012, our board put forward a 30% small business goal for all of our contracting. And since then, we've been able to make remarkable progress there. And so we currently have over 200 small businesses working for the authority doing, like you say, a wide variety of things, including about 80 of them located here in Southern California.
Really?
And I'm really also pleased to say that we have over 30 disabled veteran-owned businesses working for the authority right now as well.
If someone wants to apply to work for the High Speed Rail Authority, if they're watching, or a business wants to be a provider of services or goods, whatever it may be, how do they do that?
So if they would go to our website, we have a small business section of our website, and there's all kinds of information there about different types of services for small businesses.
HSR.ca.gov. Perfect. I want to also ask about Cap and Trade.
Yes.
Cap and Trade is a program whereby businesses trade pollution credits. It's a bit complicated. We don't need to go there for our purposes. But what we do know is the Cap and Trade program, which is in some ways quite groundbreaking, is bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars into the state. 25% of that money is dedicated to high-speed rail. Those funds have been received, I understand.
Those funds are starting to be received.
Okay.
And so we are very, very excited because it provides certainty in terms of funding, and the marketplace very much likes certainty. That kind of certainty will allow us to lure in private investment to complete the construction of the system. That's terrific. But it's also allowing us to move forward some of the partnership projects that we've committed to fund with our local transportation agencies. We have targeted some of our money in Southern California to projects that are going to help our Metrolink system run better and safer.
And let me ask you about that, if I may, Michelle, because I know the 25% is dedicated to pure bullet train projects. But then the 75%, some of it's already dedicated, but some of those projects can go to what you describe, kind of pre-projects or projects that help connect the lines together.
Absolutely. So I'm excited to say that some of our pure high-speed rail dollars, as you mentioned, have already been allocated by the legislature to some of these connectivity projects as well.
Okay.
So we are contributing to those projects that will make dramatic strides in reducing greenhouse gas in this decade by 2020. The other parts of the Cap and Trade dollars have been recommended for award to some amazing projects in the state of California. They just came out in June. It includes electric buses to operate in the Antelope Valley that would actually be built in the Antelope Valley, by local workers. New Tier 4 locomotives for Metrolink that reduce greenhouse gas reductions or emissions by over 90%.
And are those transportation vehicles going to link up at some level with high-speed rail?
Absolutely, absolutely. So our plan is that we would have a multimodal station that would include connectivity to our existing passenger rail service, Metrolink, light rail services, bus services, all of those services, so that people could really find ways to get to these high-speed rail stations, and if they're traveling here on high-speed rail, they could find services to get to their ultimate destination.
I want to thank you for joining us. I want to tell our viewers that throughout the next few years, we're going to be inviting you and some of your colleagues back on the program. We're going up and down the state and speak with some of your colleagues in the Central Valley, in Northern California, and give continued updates about high-speed rail, which apparently is coming.
It is.
Her name is Michelle Boehm. She is with the High Speed Rail Authority. My name is Brad Palmer, and you are watching Charter Local Edition.